Hey guys, KRX here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Digivolving Spirit 05 Alphamon from Digital Monster X Evolution. This is an all-new Digivolving figure that transforms between Dorumon and Alphamon. This set includes the figure, a stand, and a pair of alternate hands. So, let's get started. To start, we'll take a look at this figure in its rookie level mode, Dorumon. Now, Dorumon here is the protagonist of Digital Monster X Evolution, a CG animated TV movie that only ever aired in Japan and was not tied to any Digimon TV series, making it one of the more obscure pieces of Digimon media. Dorumon itself is a purple and white beast Digimon that's something of a cross between a dragon and a fox. You can see the head here. It's got some nice details, very well painted and molded eyes. Its most distinct trait is this triangular gem in its forehead, which has got a nice metallic red color. Got some stripes along the ears. You can see it's got molded in teeth. A lot of different segments that are kind of jagged like this to indicate that it's got some fur to it. You got the painted belly, which is actually raised. You got the paws and the toes, or the paws for the hands and feet, which are also very well painted and detailed, each with 3 claws. You got its little dragon-like wings here, which have some nice molding to them. Then you have its tail here, which is definitely one of the more exaggerated pieces of its anatomy, since it's meant to cover up a lot of the alternate mode. And so it's this big segmented piece that is a lot bigger than it normally would be. But again, it is to hide a lot of what will become Alphamon. Got a little bit of articulation in that the arms are on ball joints, so you can move them around. The wings are also on a bit more limited ball joints. And then the legs are on a ball and swivel joint back here, hinge joint here, and another one here. Now, normally you'd think that this will allow you to have him in some kind of standing pose, but unfortunately, there's a lot of weight to this guy, so if you try to do that, his body is going to weigh down his legs, and that's why it includes this little stand here. This little black piece goes into little divots down here. When placed on the stand properly, allows him to somewhat stand up. But again, only so much because of how much the body weighs it down. And that really just is a product of its design. But for the most part, this is a pretty clean rookie level mode that doesn't expose much at all of its alternate mode, and unless you look at it from the bottom, where you can see a lot of the parts that will become Alphamon. So for the transformation, we're going to start off with the front of the body. I'm going to untab the thighs from the torso. Then, take the side panels of its head and open these up. And one thing to note is that when changing it back to Alphamon, or changing it back from Alphamon to Dorumon, you want to make sure that these pieces do get pegged in to actually complete the look of the head. As without them, it does have these gaps. And then you're going to take the chest and pull it apart like that and lift up the entire thing, while also moving this piece. And this is another one to make important note of for the transformation, as there is a little lock that is basically used here for the transformation to the rookie level mode, where essentially when you transform it back, you want to push it in a little bit to fully align it. So then with that, going to take this piece, fold the arms so that they're more down by the side, pull open the torso on these segments, and then bend them in like this. Then we're going to take this piece and extend it down and rotate it around like this. Subsequently also rotating this part here after extending it out on this stock. Then we're going to take this and fold it onto the back. Or at least have it folded together like this for now. Then we're going to spread open the tail. And fold back the white end of it. Take these pieces, turn to the side, and then rotate them up to move the shoulders into place. Then we're going to come to the torso here. And we're going to line up the upper body with the lower body, which is a little bit tricky, but you just want to make sure that you have it so that you got this peg that goes into this hole here, which will then connect the torso. Then we're going to take this piece here and carefully rotate it all the way around, like that. Move this out of the way for a little bit. Then for these, we're going to take these and basically fold up the panels using some hinges that will collapse in on themselves, like this. We'll do the same on the other side. Like that. For the arms, we're going to get the shoulders in place and straighten them out. And coming down to the legs. Starting off, we're going to fold in Dorumon's feet like that. Move them off to the sides. Fold these pieces down and around, and then bring in these pieces so they're lined in the middle. Connect them like so. Move these to the back and fold these panels in and fold in the wings against them. Do the same on the other side. Of course, you also have to fold down the toes. Then we're going to extend out the legs and straighten them out. Just like so. Then for the cape, just to finish it off, we're going to take the entire thing and fold it in underneath the back pieces. Then again, fold these down over this piece and fold this back down. And here we have the Mega Level Alphamon mode, who's one of the members of the 13 Royal Knights of the digital world. So let's take a look. Now compared to Dorumon, Alphamon is very different, changing from a small beast Digimon to a tall humanoid Digimon who is very knight-like in appearance as befitting his status as one of the Royal Knights. He has primarily black and gold armor with some red bits. You can see it's got a lot of intricate design to it. A lot of well-molded details, starting from the head. You can see it still has the forehead gem from Dorumon, with some very nice painted in eyes and a mouth plate. You got his very well sculpted chest, which actually has these little diamonds here that look kind of like beast fangs. In the center of the chest we have this little panel that comes down and kind of covers up this red gem, which is kind of like a core of some kind. It has large shoulder pads, which then cover these smaller shoulder pads with some intricate details on them. We got the forearms and the wrist cuffs, and of note is that for the diecast on the sphere, they are the forehead gem and the wrist cuffs in Alphamon mode. We got the waist with another gem on it, and then the thighs and the legs coming all the way down to the feet. On the shoulders you also have these thrusters, which are made from the folded up panels, though this is not entirely accurate as they are meant to be more complete pieces, but it is a nice way of actually including them into the final design. As for the Alphamon parts, in this case they become Dorumon, or the Dorumon parts become Alphamon's cape. And while it doesn't look too good from the back, it is appropriate from the front since the inner part of Alphamon's cape is supposed to be a purple color. So it's a good use of it. As far as the articulation goes, the head is on a ball joint, as are the thrusters. The shoulder pads are adjustable on hinges. It can also be extended out. The shoulders are on ball joints. Then the secondary shoulder pads are on their own hinges. So the arms can bend outwards. Have a bicep swivel. Single jointed elbows. Or rather double jointed elbows that only have the room to basically go as far as a single joint. Ball jointed wrists. No waist movement because of how it connects in. Then you also have a couple of swivels at the hips, a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and somewhat ball jointed ankles, though the movement is a bit limited, as well as a little bit of a toe bend because of the transformation. Additionally, as I said in the beginning, it comes with a pair of alternate hands. So both of these hands are open palmed and reveal a red gem on the inside. And so you can switch one of these out with one of his fists. And this allows you to pose him for his special attack, Digitalize of Soul. And you can do that for either hand. Unfortunately, something this does not include is his signature weapon, the Oryuken, which changes him into Alphamon Oryuken. And interestingly enough, there were images shown on the internet, or kind of leaked around, that showed a transforming figure that changed from the Digimon Orumon into the Oryuken, but it never got made into a figure as far as I can tell, or at least wasn't released with the set. Whether or not it gets released down the line is somewhat up in the air. And there we go. Overall, Alphamon is another great addition to the Digivolving Spirits line. The Dorumon mode is nice and cute with a lot of rounded details, and it hides the alternate mode well. The transmission, though certainly the most complex of the Digivolving Spirits line thus far, does a good job of getting everything into place, and makes good use of the Dorumon parts by either hiding them away behind the legs or turning them into Alphamon's cape. As for Alphamon itself, this is, again, as per usual with these figures, where the thing really shines. Got a lot of excellent detail and articulation, a stellar paint job, and even a couple of alternate hands, which is a first for the Digivolving Spirits line. It is interesting that this figure changes from Dorumon to Alphamon, though, as in X Evolution, because it's a movie with no human partners. Dorumon actually gradually digivolves through his different levels up to Alphamon, so it isn't a direct thing. But it certainly does make sense to use this as Dorumon, out of all of the Digivolutionary stages of its line, is certainly the best one to use for concealing and then becoming Alphamon as the figure. Now, of note is that this is not the only articulated figure of Alphamon that's out there from Tamashii Nations, and certainly not the best one. If you want one that is just a very good articulated figure of Alphamon, then I'd recommend picking up the SH Figuarts Alphamon that actually does include the Oryuken, though it doesn't fully allow you to turn it into Alphamon Oryuken, as in that form he also sprouts wings from his thrusters, which were not included with that figure, but that is another option, though it is very pricey. That being said, if you are a fan of Digivolving figures, this is definitely a very solid one, especially if you're a fan of this Digimon and its Digivolution. Next time, I'll be taking a look at the CSM Ozdriver Complete Set, and that'll be part 1 of a multi-part review, which will be Thursday at 6 PM PST. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.